Hey, it's Clip of the Day time where Buck Sexton and I pick out the best hot take, the most fun that we had for all of you to be able to experience on the show.
That's right, and this segment is brought to you by ExpressVPN, which is the virtual private network that we trust to protect our online data.
When I use ExpressVPN, the big tech companies can't see my IP address, my identity is anonymized, and my data's encrypted. That gives me the absolute maximum protection.
And what I like is how easy it is to use. Just download the app to your phone or computer, and you're protected. So visit expressvpn.com/patriot today, and you'll get an extra 3 months free, or you can click on the link in the description below.
That's expressvpn.com/patriot, and now it's time for the clip of the day.
We got Fauci out there just in the last hour, actually, on TV. This guy's on TV every 5 minutes. And people I know who work in TV for a living, TV news, are on television less than Anthony Fauci is. You have to ask why that is. But I want to get to this because it matters. I mentioned this with Clay in the last hour. Get ready for all the things that we have learned, all the violations of civil liberties, all the constitutional violations that have gone on, everything that we've seen during, remember, they shut down churches. They told kids that they couldn't go to parks and padlock them as if they're unsafe outside. They tell you to mask up between bites. They tell you to double mask, and then they forget all about it because it's bizarre. They tell you to Lysol your groceries. All these things that have happened. That's all forgotten about by the left, by Democrats, by Fauci. And in the history of this, which has a tremendous political importance for them, a lot of power will come from this, when we finally get through this, and it will be in the next year or two, I think, that people will finally start to calm down, they will hold themselves up as heroes, and Anthony Fauci will walk around acting as though he saved millions of lives by constantly harassing people, destroying their businesses, immiserating them with no actual positive consequence. Donald Trump pushed Operation Warp Speed. We all wanted a vaccine. Millions and millions, 100, 200 million Americans, I think, now have gotten the vaccine. The vaccine can be helpful for sure for people, and we're hoping that people that are at high risk get the vaccine and others who just wanted to get the vaccine. The problem comes in with the mandates, right? We've been having this ongoing discussion for a long time. Why do I know that Dr. Anthony Fauci is a fraud? How have we known this from the beginning? For one thing, he lied about masks by his own admission, and I don't plan to let him forget about that. He said it was for our own good. But would a doctor tell you, oh, well, that antibiotic won't actually cure that infection, and you find out, oh, he just wanted to save it for other people who might need it more? Is that ethical? That's what he did on masks. I actually don't think that's what he did. I think he just changed his tune to suit the needs of the lockdown left, but put that aside for a moment. Here he is. And Clay, this drove me up the wall over the weekend. People all know how I feel about Fauci. They have for a long time. I'm probably, honestly, he probably would come on. I don't know. He might come on and talk to you, Clay. He's not going to come on and talk to me anytime soon, especially with the impersonations. But here he is saying January 6th. Wait, what the heck does that have to do with anything?
Senator Cruz told the Attorney General you should be prosecuted.
Yeah. I'd have to laugh at that. I should be prosecuted. What happened on January 6th, Senator?
Do you think that this is...
Clay, what the heck does that have to do with anything? Why is Anthony Fauci telling everybody January 6th? You and I know why.
Because he's a left-wing political prop. That's what he is. And unfortunately, who did this interview for Face the Nation? It's an embarrassment for CBS. Any kind of intelligent interviewer, when you had that awkward Fauci laugh, would have cut him off and said, well, all due respect, what does that have to do with January 6th at all? You are the topic here. So deciding to deflect to something that is just really a sign to everybody out there, oh, I'm one of you,
yes.
Right? That's what Fauci is doing. He's throwing himself on the left wing of this country because he knows, and I do think there's a lot of truth to this, that if you are on the right team, they will excuse everything. Doesn't matter what you've said historically, Doesn't matter what you've done. If you're a member of their team, then they will give you a pass for everything. And so the fact that Fauci has been wrong on virtually every bit of advice he's given for 2 years. Remember, 15 days to slow the spread. We're coming up on 2 years of Dr. Fauci trotting out there and continuing to try to lecture us about the science and the fact that he represents the science when, again, this entire interview was an embarrassment, not only to Dr. Fauci, but to CBS News, because there was no pushback on that concept. That is such an irrational, outlandish, maniacal thing to say. And it represents anti-science for anybody out there that actually cares about science. Science about rigorously questioning everything. That's what science is. And this idea that Fauci has in any way represented the science is an embarrassment to anybody who is a true scientist.
And this is why we should all wonder, why is this guy still the face of the response? We should also take a moment and ask ourselves, has the public health establishment in America covered itself in glory over the course of this, or has it been playing catch up and wrong some more? Now, remember, we're not talking about your doctor, your MD, your ER, who are doing the work of trying to keep people alive and safe. We're talking about the policymakers at the top of the CDC, the people who are making judgment calls based on all of this. Does anyone feel like they've done a good job? Is this what a good job looks like, where we are right now? I'm amazed, Clay, how many people still, they refuse to believe that more Americans have died under Joe Biden's time in office from COVID than died in year one of the pandemic, when we had no vaccines and very little idea what we were dealing with. We had less therapeutics. We didn't have monoclonal antibodies, all these things. More people have died under Biden than Trump. How is that now not something that people are more aware of? Well, again, I ask these questions rhetorically. Same reason why I look up at CNN. They've got the coronavirus pandemic, numbers up there, but they only have the current numbers. Whatever happened to the how many Americans have died from COVID number? Gee, where did that go, guys? Why did that one disappear from the news ticker?
Well, this is, to me, I'm less disappointed in Joe Biden than I am in the media that should be covering Joe Biden.
Joe Biden's a jackass. Come on.
Yeah. We didn't have high expectations for Joe Biden. Joe Biden's also a politician. Politician, no matter what stripe you prefer of your politician, often dissemble, lie, don't necessarily share the best factual data. But science is supposed to be a check on politicians. Science is supposed to be about data and also about debate. And Buck, the combination of big tech and big science has shut down so much. Remember when you weren't allowed to say, hey, this probably came from a lab leak out of China? Mm-hmm. Remember when you weren't allowed to say, hey, masks probably don't work? And by the way, you still aren't really allowed to say that?